All right, so let's set the scene here. Picture a regular day. You're sitting at your desk. Maybe you've got 100 things to get done, but there's just so much noise, right? Notifications pinging, emails piling up, that little voice in the back of your mind saying, "Did I forget something?" And somehow you get to the end of the day and think, what did I even do today? It's like our minds are on this autopilot mode, just trying to get us through the day without too much thinking. And yeah, that sounds useful, but it also means we're rarely really focused. It's like you're moving, doing things, but are you actually there? Like when you eat something delicious, actually tasting each bite instead of scrolling on your phone while you eat. That's the kind of awareness we're talking about. But in our daily hustle, being present can feel almost unnatural, right? There's this attention battery that drains really fast, especially when you're jumping from one thing to another. Neuroscience tells us that constantly switching tasks wears us out way quicker than if we just focused on one thing at a time. But what happens when we're on overload? We get tired, stressed, and here's the kicker, we end up less productive. So let's just pause and think about this for a sec. What if, instead of trying to be busy all the time, we tried being intentional? Buddhism teaches us about that quiet attention, that stillness in each task. Just like a monk might focus on a single breath, we could learn to focus on a single task. Imagine what that could do for your day. This is where we are right now, at the beginning of something different. Life might feel like this constant buzzing noise, but maybe, just maybe, it doesn't have to be. Let's start there. So, here we are, right? Living that busy life, always on the go, always trying to do more, but then something stirs. It's almost like this little whisper, you know? Like, is there a better way? Maybe you've heard about people who use short bursts of focus to get things done, and you wonder, could that actually work for me? This is the moment where curiosity kicks in. It's like your brain is saying, hey, what if we tried something different? Neuroscience actually backs this up. Our brains are wired to respond to new things, new ideas, new ways of thinking. It's why we get that spark of energy when we hear about a fresh idea that seems, well, kind of promising. And here's the interesting part. In Buddhism, they talk about the call to practice. It's that feeling of wanting to understand something deeper, to find a way to live with more awareness, more intention. It's almost like that voice inside saying, maybe there's more to life than just rushing through it. So right here, right now, there's this invitation, a chance to try something different, a small change really. Just giving a bit of time to focus, really focus. Even if it's only for 10 minutes, it's like a challenge to step off the treadmill for a second and look around, to see if a simple shift in focus could actually make everything feel a little clearer, a little lighter. Maybe you're thinking, can something so small actually change anything? But that's the call, the nudge forward. It's saying, hey, you don't have to do it all at once. Just try this one thing, because sometimes that's all it takes to start something big. And hey, if you're finding this journey helpful, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Give us a like to show your support. And if you feel like going a step further, consider becoming a member. Your support helps us keep creating content like this, diving deep into neuroscience, mindfulness, and personal growth. Oh, and drop a comment below. Let us know. How are you planning to bring these 10 minutes of focused attention into your life? We'd love to hear your thoughts and experiences. All right, so now you're feeling that nudge, right? This little push to try something different, to focus in a way you maybe haven't before. But the question is, how? Where do you even start? Neuroscience gives us these amazing insights into how our brains actually work. Like, did you know that our brains are designed to work best in short bursts? That's right, we're built for focus, but in small doses. When we focus intensely for a little while, our brains get a chance to reach that flow state where things just click. But when we try to stretch that focus endlessly, we're just fighting against how our brains naturally function. And here's where Buddhism comes in. Buddhism has been teaching us about attention and awareness for centuries. The idea of being present, of putting your full attention on one thing at a time, is central to its teachings. It's called mindfulness. And what's cool is that it doesn't have to be complicated. It's as simple as really being with what you're doing, like noticing each breath, each thought, without letting your mind drift away. So think of it like this. These short, focused sessions, they're not just about getting things done. They're actually a form of practice, just like mindfulness. You're training your brain, strengthening that focus muscle. And science and Buddhism, they're here to help you along the way like old friends who've got your back. So, you're not alone in this. You've got tools, techniques, and centuries of wisdom guiding you. All you gotta do is take that first step. All right, so now we're ready to take that first step. You've felt the call, you've got the tools, and now it's time to actually do it. This is the moment when you decide, okay, I'm really going to give this a shot. But that's kind of the beauty of it. We're not trying to conquer the world in one go here. We're just trying to see what happens when you really focus for a short amount of time. Now, there's a bit of a leap here, isn't there? Our minds are so used to jumping around, keeping busy and multitasking, but neuroscience shows us that multitasking isn't as productive as it feels. Every time we switch from one thing to another, there's this tiny switch cost, a little bit of mental energy that gets drained. So, by just choosing one thing to focus on for 10 minutes, we're actually saving brain power. And Buddhism? It talks about something similar. It's like the idea of one-pointed concentration. Instead of scattering your attention, you focus it all on one thing, one moment. It's a practice, a kind of training for the mind. It might feel strange at first, like taking a deep breath after rushing around. But that's part of the experience, stepping out of the usual chaos and giving yourself a chance to be fully present. So, here's the deal. You're about to start something different. It might feel small, maybe even a little awkward at first, but this is the beginning. You're taking that first step out of the usual routine, and who knows? You might just discover a whole new way of working, of thinking, and maybe even a new way of living. All right, here we go. So, you've made the decision to give these focused 10-minute sessions a shot. But it's not always going to be smooth sailing, right? Let's be real. Challenges are part of the deal. You're going to hit some roadblocks, especially in the beginning. Picture this. You sit down for your first 10 minutes and immediately distractions start creeping in. Maybe your mind wanders, like really wanders. Suddenly you remember that random text you haven't answered, or you feel that itch to check your notifications. It's like your brain is throwing everything at you to pull you away from focusing. But hey, this is actually totally normal. Neuroscience tells us that our brains are wired to seek novelty. We're drawn to anything that feels new or urgent because, well, back in the day, that probably kept our ancestors alive. But in today's world, it just means that our minds jump around like crazy. The good news? This is something we can work with. And here's where the teachings of Buddhism can really help us out. Buddhism talks about acknowledging distractions without letting them control you. It's like when you're meditating and your mind starts wandering. You don't fight it. You just notice it and gently bring yourself back. Think of these distractions as little clouds passing by. They'll be there, sure, but they don't have to pull you away from what you're doing. So, yeah, challenges are going to come up. You might feel like, why is this so hard? It's just 10 minutes. But every time you notice a distraction and come back to your focus, even just once, that's progress. Your brain is learning. You're training that focus muscle bit by bit. Remember, it's okay to struggle. In fact, it's part of the process. Each time you bring your attention back, you're getting stronger, building resilience. And soon, those 10 minutes, they'll feel like a breeze. Keep going. You've got this. All right, so now you're in it. You've faced those distractions, gotten a taste of how your mind tries to pull you away. And now, it's time to really start finding ways to work with these challenges instead of against them. Here's where we start experimenting, trying out little tricks to help us stay on track. Think of it like you're adjusting the settings to make everything a little smoother. For example, something as simple as taking a few deep breaths before you start can make a huge difference. Neuroscience actually shows that deep breathing can calm the mind and help your brain shift into a focused state. It's like giving your brain a little signal that says, "All right, time to zero in." It's like having a little conversation with yourself. "Okay, mind, I see you want to wander, but let's come back here just for a bit." You're not saying, "I'll get everything done." You're just saying, "For the next 10 minutes, I'm going to do this one thing." You're building up that focus and learning to navigate distractions without getting discouraged. Step by step, breath by breath, you're getting closer to mastering this practice. Keep adjusting, keep coming back, and before you know it, you'll start to feel the focus becoming second nature. All right, so now we're getting to the real test. You've been practicing, you've found some tricks that work, and maybe you're even starting to feel that focus kicking in. But then, bam, you hit a wall. It's like, out of nowhere, everything feels so much harder. Maybe you're tired, maybe the distractions feel stronger than ever. And it's frustrating, right? You're wondering, why am I even doing this? And honestly, it's completely normal. Neuroscience actually tells us that when we're building new habits or trying to train our focus, we're rewiring parts of our brain. And just like with any workout, there's a point where it gets uncomfortable and everything in you wants to quit. Your brain is used to its old ways, so when you try to change things up, it resists. It's like a mini internal battle. Buddhism has a name for this, dukkha, or that feeling of discomfort, resistance, even suffering. It's the struggle we feel when things don't go the way we want. But here's the twist. Buddhism teaches that accepting this discomfort is part of the path. Instead of fighting it or giving up, you just sit with it, recognize it. It's like saying, "Okay, this is hard and that's okay." And yeah, it might not feel great in the moment, but that resistance, it's helping you grow. This is the crisis point of your journey, the time when it feels easiest to quit. But if you keep going, if you take a deep breath, let yourself feel that discomfort, and just come back to those 10 minutes, you'll come out stronger on the other side. So, yeah, it's hard. But remember, this is the point where real change is starting to happen. You're not just learning to focus, you're learning to handle discomfort, to keep going even when things get tough. And that's something powerful. Keep at it. You're closer than you think. All right, so here we are. You've pushed through the toughest part. You didn't give up, you sat with that discomfort, and now something clicks. There's this moment where you realize, wait, I actually can do this. It's like you found this little treasure, this inner strength that you maybe didn't even know was there. Here's what's happening. By sticking with these 10-minute focus sessions, you've started to train your mind. Neuroscience calls this neuroplasticity, which is just a fancy way of saying that your brain is rewiring itself. You're building new connections, strengthening that focus muscle. And every time you push through those distractions, every time you bring your mind back, you're making that focus easier and more natural. But it's not just about getting things done. This is where the teachings of Buddhism come back in. Buddhism talks a lot about self-discovery, about finding peace within yourself, bit by bit. And here, you've unlocked a piece of that peace. By learning to stay present, by not giving up when things got rough, you've tapped into a deeper understanding of your own mind. You've seen that you can handle discomfort, that you can focus, and that there's a strength in you that maybe you didn't fully recognize before. Think of this as your first real win. You've proven to yourself that focus is possible, that you're capable of taking control of your mind and your attention. And yeah, maybe it's just 10 minutes, but that's a big deal. It's a foundation, a stepping stone towards even bigger things. So take a moment to appreciate that. You've earned it. This treasure isn't something you buy or find outside of yourself. It's something you built, one focus session at a time. And now that you've discovered this inner strength, you know that you can keep going, keep growing. This is just the beginning. But you're already carrying something precious with you, the knowledge that you're capable of change, that you can control your focus, and that with each step, you're getting closer to the person you want to be. All right, so now you've unlocked this inner strength. You've seen what these focused 10 minutes can do, and it's starting to pay off. Suddenly, things that felt hard or even impossible a little while ago, they're becoming easier. You're starting to feel that shift in how you work, how you focus, even in how you approach each day. This is the part where things start to fall into place. You notice that your mind isn't wandering off as much, that those distractions don't have the same pull on you. And every time you sit down for those 10 minutes, it's like your brain just knows what to do. You've built this flow, this rhythm, and it's starting to make a real difference. Tasks that used to drag on forever, now they get done faster, with less stress, and with a little more satisfaction. Here's the science behind it. Those neural pathways you've been strengthening, they're creating a new default mode for your brain. You've gone from that scattered, distracted mindset to one that's focused and intentional. And the more you practice, the easier it gets. Neuroscientists call this habit formation. The idea that over time, repeated actions become automatic. Your brain doesn't have to work as hard to focus anymore because it's now a natural state. And from a Buddhist perspective, this is what it's all about. Buddhism teaches that true growth happens through practice and patience, through those small, steady steps. You've moved from that initial struggle into a state of mindful focus, where you're not just doing, you're being. You're present with each task, finding peace in the process, not just in the outcome. So this is the result of your journey so far. You're starting to see the rewards, not just in how much you get done, but in how it feels to work this way. There's more calm, more clarity, and even a bit of pride in how far you've come. You've shown yourself that small, consistent steps really do add up. And the best part? This isn't just a one-time thing. These 10 minutes are now part of your toolkit, something you can rely on, come back to, and build on. So go ahead, enjoy this feeling. You're experiencing the real impact of focus, and from here, the possibilities just keep growing. All right, so now you've felt that immediate impact. You've seen what these 10-minute sessions can do for you. Now comes the part where we bring this practice back into daily life. It's like you're returning to the real world, but you're not quite the same person who started. You've got new skills, new insights, and a fresh perspective. Think about it. You've experienced how focusing for just 10 minutes can change your mindset. So what if you applied this approach to more areas of your life? Not just in work or tasks, but even in your relationships, in how you spend your free time or how you handle challenges. It's that sense of intentionality that you can now carry with you, no matter what's happening around you. Neuroscience backs this up. When you develop new habits, like focused attention, your brain actually becomes more adaptable. It's called neuroplasticity. Basically, your brain can reshape itself based on the practices you keep. This means that the skills you've developed here aren't limited to just productivity. They can influence how you approach any part of your life. And in Buddhism, there's a teaching about taking your practice off the mat or cushion and bringing it into the world. It's not just about meditating or practicing mindfulness in a quiet room. It's about carrying that peace, that focus, into everything you do. So, even when life gets chaotic, you can find that sense of calm and presence within yourself. So, here's the takeaway. These 10-minute sessions, they've equipped you with something powerful. You're now ready to bring that focus, that presence, into all areas of your life. It's a tool you can rely on, something that keeps you grounded and helps you stay in control, no matter what comes your way. This is your return to the everyday, but now, with a whole new mindset. You're not just going through life, you're living it, fully aware, fully engaged, and that's a game changer. All right, so here we are. You've returned to your day-to-day life with this new approach, this fresh perspective on focus and presence. But now, something's different. It's not just about productivity or getting things done. It's about a new way of being. These short focus sessions, this mindful practice, it's transforming how you see the world and ultimately how you live your life. Everywhere you go now, there's this sense of awareness, a calm focus that wasn't there before. You start noticing things, maybe small details in your surroundings, or a deeper connection to the people around you. That's because, through this practice, you've trained your brain to slow down and really pay attention. Neuroscience shows us that when we practice focus regularly, we actually become more present and aware in every moment, almost like we're rewiring ourselves to be more connected. And this, right here, is exactly what Buddhism talks about, living with mindfulness, with intention. It's not just something you do anymore, it's part of who you are. Buddhism teaches that true transformation happens when awareness becomes second nature. Instead of constantly reacting to life, you're now able to respond thoughtfully and calmly. It's like you've found a little bit of peace, even in the middle of the daily chaos. So now, as you move forward, you're bringing this new life with you. You're not just productive, you're purposeful. Each moment, each task, each interaction feels more meaningful because you're fully there, present and engaged. And that's powerful. It's like a ripple effect. The more you practice this mindful focus, the more it spreads into everything you do. This journey has changed you. And now, with this new life, you're creating a version of yourself that's grounded, intentional, and truly alive. This isn't just about 10-minute focus sessions anymore. It's a whole new way of seeing and being in the world. All right, so we've come full circle now. You've gone through the challenges, the discoveries, and found this new way of living with focus and mindfulness. It's time to take a step back and really reflect on what you've learned. Think about it. You started out just looking for a way to be more productive, right? But along the way, you found that these small moments of focus opened up something much bigger. Neuroscience showed you that your brain is adaptable, that you can train yourself to build new habits, to truly change. And Buddhism? It reminded you of the power of awareness, of being present in each moment, not just for productivity, but for peace. These 10 minutes aren't just about efficiency anymore, they're about intention. You've turned simple moments of concentration into a tool for growth, for mindfulness, for being more connected to yourself and the world around you. And here's the beautiful part. Now you can carry this forward. You can keep practicing, keep building on what you've learned. Whether you're at work, with family, or just spending time with yourself, you have this toolkit, this grounding practice that you can rely on. It's like you've built a bridge between ancient wisdom and modern science, a way to live with both focus and peace. So as you step back into the normal flow of life, know that you're returning with something new, something powerful. This journey has changed you, and now every moment has the potential to be a mindful, intentional one. Congratulations, you've not only learned how to focus, you've discovered a path to live more fully. This is your new normal, and it's richer, deeper, and more meaningful than ever before. And here we are, back at the beginning. But it's not the same beginning. This normal you're returning to, it feels different now, doesn't it? You're bringing all that insight, all that focus, right back into the flow of your everyday life. It's like everything around you is the same, but you've changed. You've got this new awareness, this presence that colors everything you do. Think of it this way. When you started, maybe you were just looking for a way to get more done. But now you see that it's about so much more. It's not just checking things off a list, it's about experiencing each moment with purpose, bringing that focus and calm into every part of your day. These small, intentional steps have given you a whole new outlook on productivity, on life, on being. You're back in the familiar, but you've got these new tools, this clarity that lets you see everything differently. Neuroscience and mindfulness taught you that you're not just a passenger in your own mind. You have control. You have choice. You can decide where to put your focus, how to respond, and what to prioritize. So as you return to your daily life, you're not just going through the motions anymore. You're bringing your whole self into every interaction, every task. You're bringing that sense of calm and awareness into the normal. And that makes all the difference. This journey has come full circle, but it's also just the beginning. You're returning to the same place, but with a new perspective, one that lets you live fully, intentionally, and with purpose. Welcome back to a normal that's anything but ordinary. So here we are, at the end of this journey. Or maybe it's the beginning of a new one, right? We've explored how these simple 10-minute focus sessions can totally reshape how we think, work, and live. What started as a quest for productivity opened up a door to a whole new way of seeing the world, with clarity, calm, and purpose. Now, as you step back into your everyday life, remember, it's not about doing more. It's about being more present, more aware. The tools are all here. Neuroscience showing us that our brains are adaptable. Buddhism teaching us that true peace comes from within. These aren't just ideas. They're practices that can change the way you live, one focused moment at a time. So, if you found value in this video, if this journey sparked something in you, hit that like button, share this video with anyone who might need a little focus or calm in their life. And don't forget to subscribe for more insights on how to bring mindfulness and science into your personal growth. And hey, let us know in the comments, how are you planning to use your own 10 minutes of focus today? We'd love to hear your thoughts, your experiences, and even the challenges you're facing. Remember, we're all on this journey together. Thank you for watching, for being here, for taking this step towards a more intentional, meaningful life. See you in the next one.